Hello everyone. So in our last video, we discussed about the model first, second chapter, flow control. So I hope you all watched that video. So in that flow control, before going to discuss about the elements of the flow control, we discussed about so So before that, first we discussed about the Boolean values and which are all the Boolean operators. So and then we discussed about some of the operators, Boolean operators, which are the operators we have in Boolean. So and then some of the comparison operators also we discussed in that last video. So we quickly recap. So first we discussed about Boolean values. So we already know in Boolean we have only two values, true or false. Okay. So but in integer and floating point and string we have different for integer values are there, floating point values are there, and then for string we have characters. But for Boolean, so we have only true and false. So and then that true and false also we have to represent it just like a keyword. So in true, T will we always write it in uppercase, and in false, F first letter we always write it in capital letter. So remaining letters we write it in lowercase. So here the true and false both are what? Keywords. We have to represent as it is. Okay. Okay, and then next comparison operator we discussed. So comparison are relational operators. So what you studied in your C++ Java, same relational operators here also we use. Why we use that comparison operator in the sense here we are going to check the condition. So that conditions gives only true and false output. Here the comparison operators will accept integer or floating point values as an input, and then it will give output in the form of Boolean values. So that's why we mainly use relational operators in flow controls. Okay, and then we discussed about flow charts. So that control flow program flow will execute. Why we call this one as flow control in the sense here it will show how or it will track that it helps to represent how the program will be executed step by step. So what we will do for if the condition is true, what we will do first, and then if it is false, then what we have to do. So all those things will be explained, or if you want to represent that program, for that we mainly use this flow control statements. So comparison operator we discussed. Okay, and then next Boolean operators. In Boolean we have three operators: and, or, and not. Okay, and if any one condition will fail, the output will become fail. Okay, in and. Okay, if both the conditions are true, then only the output will be true. So that one will be the working of your Boolean and. So here we are not using ampersand symbols, directly we mention a and d. Okay, a and d is also a keyword, and then or if any one condition is true, then the output is true. Okay, both the conditions are fails, then only the output will become false, and then not. So next one is not operator. In that not operator, so the reverse of the current value means if the condition is true, then the output will be false. If it is false, then the condition is true. Output will become true. Okay, opposite to that current value. Okay, so it evaluates to the current Boolean value. So next one is mixing Boolean and comparison operator. So we can mix both Boolean and as well as comparison operator. So here first we have to, if you mix both Boolean and comparison operators, first comparison operators will get executed, and then Boolean operator will get executed. So if you can write the expression by combining both Boolean and as well as comparison operators. So here this comparison operators will accept input of numerical values or floating point values, means our integer values or floating point values or string values. It will accept input, and then it will give output Boolean values. It will give output in the form of Boolean values. Actually we need Boolean values as an input for next Boolean operators. For Boolean operators, so we need Boolean values as output, right? okay, and then it will get evaluated. That's why while you mix both Boolean and comparison operators, so first comparison operators will get executed, and then Boolean operators will get executed. Okay, so next we see some of the examples. So here you see in this first example, first, here in this expression, we have both Boolean and as well as comparison operator. That comparison operator is less than, okay, and then Boolean operator is and. So first, which one will get executed? So first, comparison operator. So 4 less than 5 as condition true. And then next, second comparison operator will get executed. Again, here also we have less than symbol. 5 less than 6 as condition true. So now for Boolean operators, so we need inputs in the form of Boolean values only. So now we got the Boolean values as output. So but that Boolean values are the input for your Boolean operators. So now true and true, then or true and true. In and what? If both the conditions are true, then the output is true. Here it will evaluate into true. So here next example, same example, but here we change some values. 4 less than 5, condition true. First comparison operator will get executed, and then 9 less than 6, no, condition fails. So here we get input as for Boolean operator are true and false. True and false what? Output will become false. Okay, and then next 1 equal to 2, condition fail, or 2 equal to 2, true. One output is false and another one output is true. These two are the inputs for your R. Okay, true, false, or true. If any one condition is true, then the output is true in R. So that's why the output will become true. So if you write any expression in your Python, so that evaluates that expression and convert that one into single value. So we already discussed that one in our last chapter. So again here also, while you are working with comparison and Boolean operators, also it will evaluate down into single value. So here you see this first example, how they evaluated into single value. So first, which one will get executed? 4 less than 5, true. So then 5 less than 6 condition will check. In next step, second step. So this one is also true. True and true. So true and true condition became true only. In this way, your Boolean operator and comparison operator, if you are mixing, your expression will execute it like this. First, which one will execute it? First, which one will be evaluated first? First comparison and then Boolean operator. So next, so what we discussed in last video, those are all the basic things we need for control, we need for writing code for control flow. So now we enter into the main point, okay, main concept of flow control is elements of flow control. So now we prepare requirements. So now till now we discussed about the requirements, Boolean values, comparison operators and Boolean operators. Okay, these are the requirements for writing code of your flow control conditions. Okay, so now elements, which are all the main elements where we apply these things. So how we are going to check the condition. So for next we see that one. So first one is elements of flow control. So the main elements of flow controls are the statements. So the flow control statements often start with a part called the condition. Okay, the main thing of flow control is condition. Why? Because based on that condition only we are going to execute the statements. What statement we execute first, what statement we execute next, how many times that statement will get executed, all those things will be decided by your condition. That's why our flow control mainly start with condition and followed by block of code called class. Okay, that block of code means if that condition is true, then what we have to do, that one we write it in a block of code, that one we called as class. So the main thing of flow control or your flow control execution will start from conditions. First we have to write the condition and followed by the block of codes called class. So first we see what is that conditions, how to write a conditions. So mainly the conditions we write by using comparison and Boolean operators. okay, by using comparison and boolean operators. Why? Because so which operators will give boolean values as output, that one we mainly used in we mainly used in conditions, mainly used to write the conditions. Okay, so here you see the boolean expressions are considered as conditions. As boolean expressions which are the same thing as expression. Condition is just more specific name in the context of flow control statements. Conditions are will always evaluate down into boolean value, true or false. Why? Because condition means here we are checking the condition is true or false. That's why that thing only we are going to checking. So if it is true or false, if it is true, we are executing something. False, we are going to do some other thing. Okay, but for giving the true or false outputs, we need boolean expression only. Okay, a flow control decides what to do based on whether its condition is true or false, and almost every flow control statements uses a condition. Yes, so here the main thing of flow control is condition. Okay, that condition, for that condition we have to write the boolean expressions. Okay, and then that boolean, why that boolean expression, that boolean expression only gives the output in the form of true or false. Okay, that's why we mainly use boolean expression in writing conditions. Next one is block of code. Next, what that block of code will contain? First one is conditions, right? Condition, for writing condition we are using boolean expression. That thing you keep in your mind. Next one is block of code. This block of code is nothing but what we have to do based on that output, based on that output comes from your conditions. Okay, so this block of code is a line of codes can be grouped together in blocks. So there are main three rules for writing blocks. First one is block begins when the indentation increases. Okay, block begin when the indentation increases. Block contain other blocks. Blocks end with indentation decreases to 0 or to a containing blocks indentations. So here the block, so here is that indentation is nothing but the conditions. Okay, here the what the conditions you are returning, so that one we call as indentation. So here in Python, the group of code what we are writing, that one we called as blocks. So for writing the blocks we have some rules. So block begin with indentation increases, means the block begins when we check the condition. After check that particular condition, the block will get increases. So mainly this indentation will increases while we are dealing with the looping statements. So if you are dealing with looping statements, there mainly that indentation increases, means number of times that block of codes will get executed. And then block can be a nested, that's the thing they mentioned in second. Block can be contain other blocks, means inside block you can write another one block. Okay, so that block code if there, right, first we check the condition, next you execute some block statement. That block statement can also be a condition. Okay, so inside that also you can write another blocks. So instead of blocks also accepted blocks, and when the indentation decreases to 0 or to a containing block indentation, means your block ends when your execution, means what you are going to do, how many times you are going to execute it, what you are expecting output will reach. Okay, it will reach to 0, means your counter, just like counter in while loop, if you want to print the name from 1 to 10, so it begins with 1 and ends with 10, right? It will become 0. So then your number of iterations will become 0, then only your block indentation will get decreases. So that's why I give while example. Okay, next you see blocks are easier to understand by looking some of the indented code. Okay, so let's find the blocks in part of small game program. So here you see, so in this example they represent the block. Okay, they are showing how that block codes will get executed. So how they are how we are going to represent in Python. So by taking one small example, so you don't, till now we are not discussed about how to write if and all, but this one is a simple program. So in C, C++ and Java, how to write C, how you write if condition, how you write if conditions. So first we mention if keyword, and then open parenthesis, and then closing parenthesis. Inside that we enter the conditions. But here they removed open and closing parenthesis, and then after that we open flower braces. Inside that we write a block of codes, and then we end the flower braces. That flower braces or curly braces are the optional in other programming languages also. But here if you want to write if, first you mention the if keyword, okay, and then next you give one space, white space, and then you write the directly condition. No need to mention parenthesis, okay, no need to mention the brackets. After that you write, you specify colon, not semicolon, colon. Okay, this one is your actual condition. If followed by condition, that condition is contain boolean expression only, and then colon. Below that you have to write your block of code. That block of code here is print. Okay, here we are going to print something. Print hello Mary. So this one is the small game program actually. If name is equal to Mary, print hello Mary. If password is equal to some s word fish, then print access granted. Okay, else, okay, if both the conditions are not satisfied or false, okay, when this condition will get executed, when name is equal to Mary. Okay, when the name is equal to Mary, then only print hello Mary. Okay, if condition is false, then it will check the password. Okay, password is equal to password. Okay, then it will print, else print wrong password. If it is true, then access granted. If both are true, then only it will print access granted. Otherwise, it will print wrong password. Okay, this one is a small game. So here they explain. Start at the line print. So here first line, name is equal to Mary. If this condition is true, then only it will print hello Mary, and contains all the lines after it. So after it will contain, first it will check this condition and then print the statement. After that it will execute next statement. So inside this block is another block is there. So that block which has only a single line in it. Okay, which has only a single line in it, print access granted. So that the third block, it also one line long, print wrong password. So actually here three conditions are there. First it will check if first you have to enter the Mary. If that name is Mary, then only it will accept the password. If it is false, then it will comes out of this condition, and then it will print another statement. Actually here you see, so here first it will check this condition. If it is true, then it will print hello Mary, and then next it will check another block. Next it will enter into the another block and check the password. Okay, so if both are true, then it will allow access. Okay, it will print hello Mary, access granted. Okay, first the name is equal to Mary. It's not true. If you enter some other name, so name is equal to, if you enter some other ABC name, so name is equal to ABC. If you give input, so then if the condition will fail, then it will comes out of the if condition. It will not print anything. Okay, so don't get confused. So it's a simple example. Next we see one by one. Okay, so next program execution. So Python started execution instructions at the top of the program, going down one after the other. So always just like your C program, this Python is also top-down approach. So first it will execute the top instructions first, and then next after the other. Okay, the program execution is a term for the current instruction being executed. So it's simply executing. So we already know Python is an interpreted language, so it will execute the code line by line. Okay, so that one execution is nothing but execute the current statement what it wants to execute. If you print the source code on your paper and put your finger on each line and it is executed, you can think your finger as a program execution. Means here they are trying to explain in a simple way. So while you are reading, what you are going to do? If you, for example, if you take, if you now you are assume you are reading one program from your textbook, what you are going to do? You have to you have to move your finger first to the top of your program, means first line of your program, and then next your finger will jumps to next line. Okay, like that. If you how you are reading your program by figuring, by put your finger on your program. Okay, so in the same way, your program execution will also execute it. Execution is nothing but how you are reading your program. In the same way, your computer also execute your program from top-down approach. Okay, next, first one. So in condition flow control statements, first statement is if. Okay, if is the first statement. So this one we also called as branching statement. So in your previous programming languages, C, C++, and Java. So in statements, Conditional branching statements and unconditional branching statements are there. Okay, so in conditional branching statements, so we have if else, and then if else, if else, nested if, and as well as switch. But here in Python we are not using switch, so we use if else and else if, and you can also use nested if. Okay, no problem. So here mainly we use if else and else if. Okay, so don't confuse, here we don't have switch. So we start with if statement in conditional branching statement. Conditional branching statement is nothing but what, based on that condition your branching statements are get executed. Unconditional means without conditions. Okay, without mentioning any statements, your program will get executed. Which are those example? Break, continue, go to are there, right? But in Python we don't have go to, we have only break and continue. Next we discussed about that one. So first we see if statements. So the most common type of flow control statement is the if statement. Okay, so if an if statement class will execute if the statement condition is true, the class is skipped if the condition is false. So class is nothing but what, it's a block of code. Yes, it's block of code we called as class in Python. Okay, and then if that class block a block of code will executed only if the condition is true, and if condition is true, otherwise it will be skip the class will is have a class means that block of code after if what we have, that will be skipped. So here in Python an if statement consists of the following. So mainly in Python how to write a if and then what it will contain. Now first we see which are all the things it contains. First one is the if keyword. I already told if keyword, a condition. Okay, next you have this if followed by a condition. So this condition and expression that evaluates to true or false means mainly a boolean operator conditions expression you have to write, and the next colon followed by colon. First if keyword, a condition, that condition you have to write boolean expression. Why? Because that condition will give true or false output after it evaluates, and then colon, and then next starting and next line an indent block of code called a class. So below that you have to write a block of code. Okay, that one is class indent block of code. Okay, see here this one is an example. See first name, first what we have to write for if keyword followed by condition, followed by condition. Here condition is name is equal to alias, and then after this you have to put colon in the next class. This one is class, this block of code indent block of code class. So print I alias. This one is an example. So that one we are showing in this flow chart. All flow control statements end with a colon and are followed by a new block of code called class. So for all control statements, okay, not only if, for other control statement also means else if, and then next we go to while, for all those things. After that flow control statements ends with a colon. Okay, after it ends with a colon followed by a new block of code called class. This if statement class in the block with print I alias. Okay, so by seeing this one, can observe this one. If this name is equal to alias, it will print I alias. Okay, so this one is the figure. We'll show the flowchart of this code. So flowchart we already know, always start with start and end with end. That one we mention in oval shape. Okay, and then conditions we mentioned in rhombus or diamond shape. First start, next condition. A condition is what? Name is equal to alias. If it is true, then it will print I alias. If it is false, then it will end the statement, skip the execution. In this way, if will work. So next one is else statement. So when this else statement will execute, why we need else? Because so here you see, if the condition is true, then only this statement will be printed. Means your class will print it. Otherwise, it will not print anything. It will jump to the next line of code. We don't know what that code. Okay, so but we have to know. What app whether that if will working properly or not. If the condition is true or not. If it is false, it will not print anything. But we can't understand, or we can't check that whether that if is working or not. For that reason, okay, if that condition will false, next what we have to do. So for that they give and they introduce else statement. Else statement is used to print the or execute if the condition will false. what we are going to execute next if the condition will false. And if clause can optionally be followed by an else statement, yes, option. This one is option, not a mandatory. If you want to do or if you want to execute some other things, if the main if condition is false, then only you are using else. If you don't want to execute anything, if the condition will false, then leave this one. That's why optionally followed by an, they mentioned optionally followed by an else statement. The else clause is executed only when the if condition is false. And else statement does not have condition. And then the most important thing you have to keep, we already know, is same as other programming language. Here also else does not contain any condition in a code, but else statement always consists of else keyword. Okay, and then but for else we don't have any condition, but we have to write a class block of code class. Okay, and then this else also contain keyword else keyword, and then followed by colon and the indent block of code. Okay, indent block of code. Okay, that called as class. So returning to the same example here, you see if name is equal to alias, print alias, else it will print hello stranger, hello stranger. Okay, so here you see, so this one is a flowchart for if and else. First start, first for condition name is equal to alias. If it is true, it will print what alias and then end. If it is false, then what it will do, it will print allow stranger and then it will end. Okay, this one is for if and else. So if you want to just check the condition and print only the statements or block of code means that class for true only, then you have to write only if. But if you want to do something, if the condition is fail, the condition is true, then for that you have to write some block of code. But what we have to do if it is false, then you have to use else. For else no condition, but after else you have to put colon. For if we have condition, okay, and then for else we don't have condition. Okay, so next elif. So elif is nothing but else if you used in your C programming and in your Java and in your C++. So else if is mainly used to check the multiple conditions. So in else, if else, we can check only one condition at a time. So here you observe in if else, in if you can check only one condition. You can't check multiple conditions at a time. Why? Because your if evaluates down into a single output. Okay, single output. If you want to check multiple conditions at a time, then you go to elif. Okay, so elif is nothing but else if for checking multiple conditions at a time. So here you see, while only one of the if or else class will execute, you may have a case where you want to, or where you want one of many possible class to be executed. And if only you can execute one class at a time. One class means one block of code you can execute at a time. But if you want to execute many possible class to execute for one condition, many possible class if you want to execute. So then you have to use elif statement. It's an else if statement that always follows an if or another else if statement. It provides another condition that is checked only if any of the previous conditions were false. So here in if the condition is false, then else will get executed. Okay, only one condition it will check. But in elif, what happens? First you check the condition. Okay, if that false, then again you go and check the another condition. Means here you can use the different views for a condition. The different types of outputs for many types of more than one type of outputs, we can check the values. Okay, so mainly the elif statements always consist of the following. So elif keyword followed by a condition and colon. Same thing, but here you have to use elif. First if and then elif, and then next at last you have to write the else. That one is optional. Okay, so each elif statement, after each elif statement, you can write the block of code, that is class. So let's see an example. If name is equal to alias, alias. This one is the first condition. Okay, if it is checked, next it will print this one. And the next elif age less than 12, that you are not alias, you are kiddu. Okay, so this one is the elif. Two conditions we are checking at a time. Okay, so first start. So when this elif will get executed if it is true. Okay, so if it is false, then it will execute this one. So start name is equal to alias true, print it will print ILS and then end. So if it is false, then it will go and check age less than 12. If it is false, then it will directly print end. So if it is true, then it will print a true. Okay, it will print true. So here you see here also one disadvantage is there. If both are false, then it will not print anything. So if both are false for if you want to print some other things, so then you have to use else after this. Next we see in that next example the same what I explained that mentioned in there. So you type this code and then execute and see in your interactive shell. So first is if name is equal to alias, so print I alias. Otherwise it false, then it will jump to age less than 12. You are not alias kid. Again, this one is also false. Then it will come age greater than 2000. Print unlike you, alias is not an undead immortal vampire. Okay. So again, if it is false, then it will execute another statement age greater than 100. You are not alias granny. Okay, so if this condition also false, so then it will not print anything. For that reason, what you have to do, you have to write another one else. Okay, so here it is first in first condition itself, name is equal to if the name is equal to alias itself, then it will print all alias. Okay, and then it will not going to execute other and I'm going to check other things. Okay, that's the same thing they mentioned in this flowchart. Start, okay, name is equal to alias true, then it will print and then end. If it is false, then check next condition. Next age less than 12. If it is false, next age greater than 2000. If it is true, then it will print this one and then execute here. Okay, so like this, your else if will get executed. So here you see another one example what I told. So first here in all in previous these three examples, so we are not written else. Okay, if all the conditions were false, it will not print anything. Okay, for printing something, then we have to write code like this. Name is equal to alias, print I alias. Okay, else if age less than 12, print you are not alias kid. Else print you are neither alias or not nor a little kid. Okay, first we'll check the condition. Start name is equal to if it is true, then it will print I alias and then end. Okay, we are print something. Okay, if it is false, then it will jump to next line of code. Age check age less than 12. As age less than 12, if it is 12, so then it will print true and then print you are not alias kiddo and then end it. If this one is also false, next it will print else. What else in else? You are neither alias nor a little kid and then print the statement. Okay, so in next video we start with looping statements. So now in this today's session, so we discussed about the elements of flow control. So for writing an elements, we quickly recap that for writing an elements, the main thing is conditions and class. What is condition? So that conditions will give that output in the form of Boolean values. So the condition we have to write in Boolean expression, and the next followed by class. So that mainly that elements of flow control elements mainly contains conditions and class. The class is block of code. Okay, and then first we discussed about the if statement. So here how you type a if, first if followed by condition, no need to mention any parenthesis, and then colon. Below that you write a block of code, that is class. Okay, so if for else colon, no need to write any condition, followed by the statements what we are going to execute. Okay, and then if you want to check multiple condition, for that we use elif, elif. We are not using else if here. Okay, here for checking multiple conditions, today we use elif. So these are the branching statements. Mainly we are using in condition branching statements we are using in Python. Else, if, and then elif. If else, elif. Okay, no switch. Okay, so in next video, so we discussed about while loop statements. If you get any doubts regarding this video, so try to message me and then call me. Okay, I can clarify doubt, and then you try to execute these things in your interactive shell, means open spider and then try to execute. Okay, thank you. We meet in next video.